We've known each other for 14 years, and we have been together for going on 11 years as of the 10th of February.
I've been part of the youth group for about 3 years, and it was the monthly get-together.
Arrived at my first youth group with the organization, and I met up with Rachel, who's still my case manager, and I was asking about everybody who was there, and very eager to meet everybody and to get to know everybody who was having an issue with the same condition as mine. And then when she pointed over to the one person who was not in the social group, I was like, oh no, that's not acceptable. I went over there and introduced myself and became friends with her. I was like, I need to get this social butterfly out of her cocoon, because I know how it is to be alone and to feel isolated and to feel too awkward to participate in something. I want to show people it's okay to kind of break through that little shell and let yourself out a little bit, because otherwise you're going to miss out on some of the best moments of your life. And I mean, this one kind of led to my long-term relationship. So I mean, without that moment, where would I be now?
I think there's a lot more understanding. We both go through the same things. We both have had grand mal seizures. We both have had to been sent to the hospital. We've both been left behind in school because of our condition. The needing of somebody to depend on them if you can't drive or you can't cook. He's an excellent cook. I'm very fortunate about that one. It plays a big role in it. I mean, I still have my mother, but to have that in a relationship is huge, because if you have somebody per se that does not have the condition, and then you hear, oh, I need to be driven to work, I need to be driven to the grocery store, I need to be driven here, we need to go to a doctor's appointment, it starts to become overwhelming. But when you understand it, when they both go through it, I think there's a more common ground.
It's not as much as a flaw as it is an advantage to really look at each other and go, you know what, I completely understand, I've been there before.
Yeah.
So together, working together, we have a solid base, because both of us can lean on each other without, breaking. And we take the smaller blessings because of our epilepsy is a big deal. For me not having a seizure episode in over 9 years, and about 9.5 soon, I've been able to drive. But prior to that, I was on a bicycle riding over 15 miles to go see her. So riding my bike down residential roads that don't really connect all the way there easily. So over hills, through bus routes and on streets that don't have sidewalks. It's almost like a long distance relationship, but only a few miles apart. The challenges of finding a way to go out and to enjoy our time together. I would actually ride her on my bike on handlebars.
That wasn't very comfortable, but we got through it.
I even made it as comfortable as possible. I created padding for her to sit on the front of the handlebars while we rode to a movie or going out to dinner or something like that. She would have a seizure and blank out and let go of me. For security, the seatbelt would be strained to my body and to hers, so she wouldn't be able to accidentally come off the back of the scooter.
Yeah, we made a trip all the way to Kendall on
that
the
scooter. Yeah.
And it was freezing. It was to a friend's birthday party.
And then also doing things like mundane things like going shopping. I had 2 book bags, one in the front, one in the back, and then I would carry many grocery bags as I can, putting them on the handlebars of my bike and then riding them all the way home. At that time, I was just riding a bicycle, but I had to eat. I had to work. We've had plenty of times where we've needed to assist each other in regarding to epilepsy and our independent battles with them. I had a severe anxiety that branched from my fear of having another seizure, especially with being on a 9-year streak so far. I was getting overwhelmed with trying to live a normal life with my abnormal condition. I'm only human, so at a certain time I lost my job due to the distress that it was causing me. It actually became physically debilitating, where I started having tremors and other physical breakdowns. So I had to take a step back and unwind and de-stress myself before I could get back out there and becoming independent again. And while I was doing that, Kimberly was working and helping to support the household financially. Later on, she started having issues with her job, and I had to then kind of shake off the cobwebs and stand up. I felt like I was in a better mental state, and ironically, I was able to work for Epilepsy Alliance, the organization that we met through, and actually get a job in their insurance navigation department currently, where I'm actually working today. If you can, here we are, coming 14 years from meeting to and me working in the organization like I kind of always wanted to do.
And we also have his brother Ricky that we have also with us. So all three of us have the same condition. So there's an understanding that just because one of us is down doesn't mean we all have to be down.
We all know to pick up the slack for the others when things get kind of tough. And one of the crucial things we've learned through all this is that stress is a matter of perception. It's basically how you perceive the issues that you're dealing with. But it comes with extra burden when you're an epileptic. So the moderate stress level is always magnified when you have a condition that's aggravated by said stress. So everyday life is a struggle. Even though it seems like everybody can do these little things, driving to work or trying to be somewhere on time and then managing their doctor's appointments and so on. So it's really difficult when you not only have hurdles, but it's like barbed wire hurdles. In-depth understanding of their particular epilepsy, understanding their triggers, understanding what is going to bring them on and what type of seizures they have, being ready and prepared to have to deal with that condition going forward, and also working together to try to see what they don't see in themselves. So being able to identify things that you might not have noticed yourself. You can't be self-aware when you're having a seizure. Mm-hmm. So with that, it's an advantage that you have somebody who understands you. Like, did you know that every time before your seizure, you do this? Just helping them to identify their triggers, which is a huge part of seizure management and self-management. I've noticed that she has a lot of emotional distress that triggers her seizures. I gotten to the point where I can actually induce a seizure if it was needed for like an EEG, because I know exactly what type of subject distresses her so much that she will start to have seizures, such as the losing of her father, or if we were having some type of emotional conflict in our relationship. When we've had emotional disputes, it comes along through arguments or anything like that, which is where the patience comes in, because during our arguments is when she tends to have her most absent seizures, so she blanks out in the middle of our argument.
My brain just shuts down.
Her brain just starts blocking it out. So we might be in an argument or a disagreement, and then she just blanks off.
I have no idea.
And then I have to pause, and I have to try to pick up where I left off, and then also pick up where she left off. So I have to reiterate everything to try to make sure that we're on the same page. So it's huge with communication, but that also builds the communication as well. The fact that she does that and then it has to be repeated It's like a checkpoint in your argument. You have to pause in between.
And how do you usually ever have a pause in an argument? It just goes.
Usually it just goes and escalates. This is an escalation preventer. Her epileptic seizures are an escalation preventer because we both pause. Sometimes that might actually be one of the healthiest ways to get through an argument. You both kind of pause and wait. You're not going to agree on everything in a relationship. No one ever does. You have to take all the flaws and all the perks and put them together and make them work. At a certain point in my life, I decided to jump in and go to college. I used the support that I had with Kim to go and search for the right place for me to go to college. I went to look into something medical because I wanted to help people with medical conditions such as myself. Not just epilepsy, but any medical condition they might have been, struggling with, because a lot of the things that I had learned at the time would pertain to a lot of other people's obstacles and trying to address their problems as well. And while I was there, she signed up to become an IT, and so we enrolled together. Enrolling together, we supported and somewhat competed with each other. And
I got more stars.
Every month we were comparing our grades.
They gave little metal pins.
They gave out awards and stuff for certain departments. Also got their own little pins, and we had our ID badges were covered in our pins and our achievements and our little awards throughout our time in college. We both maintained our 4.0 throughout all of our courses, and both graduated together. And we also built our family into it by getting my brother enrolled in the college as well. So he got to graduate with us in the same graduation class that we had.
His willingness to help anybody, no matter what the issue is. His heart of gold, his intelligence. He's also an awesome cook.
I would have to say her acceptance of me as a person. The fact that she, is there for me and understands who I am, and she admires that has been a huge thing. So it doesn't matter about how I look or anything, but more about the person that I am. And so the fact that she handles me as an ordinary individual is a big factor, and whether or not, and it's a big motivator to realize like no matter what complication that we have, I love her more than any complication that we may be faced with. So when I tell her, it's like I love her more. It's more like I love you more than the problems we're faced with or the issues that come across us or any struggles we have in life. So
yeah, he says that constantly. He actually even bought keychains and mugs that say it.
Yeah. The other things I always say is like I love you more. The end, I win.